Did you know there's a gun so powerful, so revolutionary, that it shattered one of humankind's greatest barriers, the speed of sound? Yes, you heard that right, firing a bullet faster than Mach 1. But more astonishing than its speed is how it completely transformed the way we think about firearms and technology. So buckle up, because you're about to uncover one of the most remarkable true stories in the history of firearms. Now let's rewind back to the mid-20th century. The world was deep in the throes of innovation. Space travel was being imagined. Supersonic planes were on the drawing board, and firearm technology? Well, it was advancing by leaps and bounds. Among these breakthroughs was the advent of a weapon that could break the sound barrier. This isn't science fiction. It's engineering reality. And the secret behind it? A firearm called the Dardic Tround Revolver. But hang on. There's more to this story than the name implies. First, let's talk about the speed of sound itself. At sea level, sound travels at approximately 768 miles per hour, or about 1,125 feet per second. Which means, for a bullet to be considered a supersonic marvel, it has to surpass that speed. For decades, firearms experts experimented with higher and higher velocities, using state-of-the-art engineering and materials technology. But it wasn't until the advent of specialized ammunition, like the famous Trounds or triangular rounds, by inventor David Dardic, that the breakthrough truly happened. These rounds were aerodynamic marvels, designed to minimize drag and maximize speed on exiting the barrel, taking bullets where they had simply never been before. So why was shattering the sound barrier with a firearm such a big deal? For starters, a supersonic bullet creates a miniature shockwave as it zooms through the air. That means improved accuracy, and notably, additional force upon impact. In military applications, this meant greater penetration against armor or other fortified materials, a game changer for battlefield scenarios. Imagine, if you will, a weapon capable of not just defeating an opponent, but doing so from longer and more strategic distances than ever before. But here's the twist. Achieving supersonic speeds wasn't just about the ammunition. It also required revolutionary firearm designs. Let's take a closer look at how this played out. While traditional guns were efficient, the Dardic gun, and its iconic triangular ammo, used a semi-open chamber design which served dual purposes. First, it allowed for higher pressure loads, essential for propelling bullets to such staggering speeds. Second, it increased firing rates, meaning equipment like this wasn't just a one-hit wonder in battle. It could maintain sustained superiority. Now let's simplify the science a bit. When a gun fires, there's a sudden explosion behind the bullet. The expanding gases from this explosion accelerate the projectile down the barrel. Simple, right? But here's the catch. If the gases aren't controlled correctly, you won't break that coveted sound barrier. That's where advanced barrel rifling and recoil reduction tech comes into play. These tweaks amplified the Dardic's capabilities, a firearm sleeker and meaner than its predecessors. But you may be wondering, what's the big difference between a regular bullet and one that's traveling faster than sound? Well, here's the kicker. When that bullet exits the barrel, it's trailing not only smoke, but also a pressure wave. This is the same phenomenon seen in supersonic jets, but on a micro scale. If you thought the crack of a conventional gun was loud, picture a supersonic firearm and amplify that bang several-fold. Often, the sonic boom is so intense that it can deafen anyone standing too close. Needless to say, proper auditory protection wasn't optional if you planned to fire one of these engineering marvels. What's also incredible is how this innovation has rippled out across industries. The concepts pioneered by the Dardic influenced modern arms manufacturers to experiment with hypervelocity ammunition, spurring a new generation of firearms which continue to push the limits of physics to this day. And it isn't just military enthusiasts who benefited. Ballistic engineers, law enforcement agencies, and even aerospace specialists adapted similar principles for their respective fields. From riot control weapons to satellite launching railguns, the dream of supersonic projectiles carried over far beyond its humble beginnings. Of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Early adopters faced serious challenges. For starters, supersonic firearms needed to be precision engineered, or risk misfires, a serious flaw for military-grade equipment. Plus, triangular ammo was notoriously tricky and expensive to manufacture in large quantities. Critics argued that regular firearms were sufficient for most real-world scenarios. Thankfully, advancements in polymer science and 21st-century manufacturing have decisively resolved these hurdles, making high-speed weaponry safer and more reliable than it ever was in Dardick's time. But let's not forget the human element here. Breaking the sound barrier, much like the first flights or moon landings, brought an unmatched sense of wonder to engineers and firearm enthusiasts alike. By translating raw ingenuity into action, these trailblazers proved that no goal is out of reach, with the right tools and obsession for detail. To summarize, while the firearm community has seen a multitude of jaw-dropping innovations, from laser-guided bullets to underwater weapons, there's nothing quite like the Dardick's legacy. It didn't just break an arbitrary benchmark, it opened a window into the future of physics-bending firearms today. Still, we're left with this question. What new records might humanity break tomorrow? If 20th century innovators successfully overcame the sonic barrier for bullets, is hypersonic ammunition next? So, as you set this video down, carrying the weight of this knowledge, here's a mind-bending thought for our followers. Firearms have always been a reflection of human ambition, capable of breaking limitations that just a generation prior were thought impossible. And the gun that broke Mach 1, it's a prime testament to that restless quest for momentum. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more episodes in our Firearms series. Whether it's about guns that bend barrels or those that save lives, we'll keep delivering episodes that leave you speechless. Until next time, keep reloading your knowledge and stay curious.